It's 6 o'clock.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this evening, owners of boats shot by helicopter in Bonny demands investigation. PDP National Caucus nominates former Senate President for mediation on court cases. DSS denies dispersing doctors at Saudi Arabia Recruitment Center. And on the foreign scene, US intensifies evacuation from Afghanistan. I am Carl Orakwue with the news. One of the owners of the boat shot in Bonny by men in a helicopter yesterday, Wisdom Halliday, says occupants of the boat were trying to fix an engine fault around Dutch Island when the helicopter flew down almost to water level and shattered them. Halliday told correspondent Martha Okere that the occupants of the boat then jumped into the water, but 2 people were hit on the leg and the hand.
On their way getting to Dodge Island, the engine has problem. They call. We now send another engine. But that was sending engine around 1 o'clock. It's not quite long. Somebody called somebody that should come and inform us that a military plane came down and started shooting the boat. So by the time we send rescue to the place, we find out that some people got injury. The bullet caught somebody on his leg, the other one on his finger, and people in the community, they came there and rescued them. They sent them to a creeker.
The other owner of the boat, which was shot at, Maxwell Grill, called for investigation and compensation.
We want government to involve into this matter because we cannot leave it lie low. They have to pay for compensation and all the people's goods that have lost. We cannot leave it at that level. We carry gari, rice, beans, granite, cement, gaskets, and other things.
Oh, we heard those. Also, one of the 4 people who rescued the occupants of the attack boat also spoke to our correspondent.
We are the waterfront in Dodge Island. We are just being the river. And this market boat was coming from Port Harcourt towards Bonny. The next thing we see, the plane fly and come down. When it comes down, he shoot at the boat. He went up again, come back again. He still shoot at the boat. The plane was very low, so they can see if this is a market boat or an oil boat. But after the second time, they flew up again.
Those injured are receiving treatment, we are told, at a hospital in Okrika local government area. The Marine Police is aware of the situation. Meanwhile, a youth leader in Bonny, Simeon Wilcox, has joined a call for an investigation into the attack on the Bonny-bound boat from Port Harcourt by the helicopter. In an interview with our correspondent, Wilcox, the former president of the Bonny Youth Federation, condemned the attack and accused government of neglecting the oil-rich area.
We've gone there, we've seen, and eyewitness account has said it, that they saw this military helicopter that flew past them and came back and descended the beach and opened fire on this boat, having about 3 persons in it. I do not know their motive. I don't know why that would be the case, because I don't think you can mistake a Cotonou boat carrying goods for a bunkering tanker. We are calling on the federal government and the state government, particularly the federal government and the military authority, to investigate this. It's as if the government has forgotten Bonny. Bonny is the gold mine for the country. What they're interested in here is just to protect their facilities and their operators. The citizenry of Bonny is not protected.
In the meantime, a concerned native of Bonny, Dr. Abarasi Abehart, says data shows there's been a dozen attacks so far on the Bonny waterway this year, after 13 attacks were recorded last year. Dr. Abehart, who is a research scientist in the United Kingdom, told correspondent Choma Ezenwafo that it is regrettable that the high rate of insecurity on Bonny waterway continues, despite several calls for it to be fixed.
We have had 12 recorded attacks from my own data, excluding the just concluded one he just mentioned now. We have had kidnapped, 5 persons adopted, that was August 10th of this month. On the 11th of July, 3 persons was actually adopted from a village, Abalamabie village. So you can see nothing has been done, nothing has changed, and we still face this attack continually.
While expressing shock at yesterday's helicopter shooting, Dr. Abehart called for locally designed security architecture to fix the high rate of insecurity on the Bonny waterway.
People are beginning to look inward what can be done. Even in Rivers State, the people have internal security structure or system to curb this kind of issues. So I think the way we can look at it as Bonny people is to begin to look at what we can do. So we need home design security system that will help us.
In another development, the abducted students of the College of Agriculture and Animal Science, Bakura, Zamfara State, have regained freedom. Governor Bello Matawalle said the students were released today through the help of some repentant bandits. In the same vein, the over 100 students of an Islamic seminary who were recently freed after 3 months in the kidnappers' den are reunited with their families in Mina today. Their captors let them go last night. Moving on, PDP National Caucus has nominated a former president of the Senate, David Mark, to mediate with every member of the party to drop every court case. This formed part of the resolutions reached at the 40th National Caucus meeting of the PDP in Abuja on Thursday. Reading the communique of the meeting, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, said the party has fixed October 30 and 31 for its national convention at a yet-to-be-agreed venue.
Just risen from our caucus of our great party, the PDP, where we have resolved to submit to the neck of our party tomorrow a recommendation from the National Working Committee for the national convention of our party to be held between Friday 30th of October to Saturday 31st of October. Venue will be determined by the grace of God tomorrow by neck. Also, this distinguished body had empaneled 8 distinguished leaders of our party under the able leadership of former President of the Senate, Senator David Mark, to interface with our leaders who are involved in these issues of court.
Fielding questions from newsmen on the Kebbi State High Court verdict of Thursday, Governor Tambuwal said the party is yet to receive any court order. Meanwhile, PDP National Chairman Uche Secondus says the party respects the rule of law. He said this in his brief remarks following his return to his seat after a 5-day absence based on a restraining order issued by a Rivers State High Court. Still on this, a lawyer, Joe Chukwu, has described the order from the Kebbi State High Court which reinstated Uche Secondus as the PDP National Chairman as judicial rascality. The lawyer told a correspondent that the court order cannot stand.
The order made by the Rivers State High Court sitting in Bigima cannot be overruled by another state high court because they are both courts of coordinate jurisdiction. Apart from the issue of territorial jurisdiction, the fact that both courts are have coordinate jurisdiction, it cannot. To me, as a lawyer, it is an abuse of judicial process, and I would say that it is the highest species of judicial rascality.
Mr. Chukwu further highlighted constitutional steps that could have been taken by Uche Secondus.
Court of coordinate jurisdiction cannot sit on an appeal. The option they have is either they go back to that same court in Rivers State, bringing an application for the court to vary its order, overrule itself, taking reason, or they go to court of appeal. I wouldn't know what prompted her to give the order, but with due respect to the justice from the laws in this country, we know that courts of coordinate jurisdiction cannot overrule.
On his part, a public affairs analyst, Sugbe Ishikarari, says the PDP will be lying if it says there's no division in the party. He accused the party of laying the foundation of the crisis the country is facing.
The PDP does not have the capacity to rule the nation. They laid the foundation of where we are now. And the crisis in there, going from bad to worse. Just imagine a group of people meeting and saying that they are confirming the acting as somebody, deputy national president, to act in the place of the chairman. It's ridiculous. They have not told us where they are. They belong in the divide. They've not been able to settle themselves. Don't come and tell us you have the capacity to settle the nation. Who is fooling who? And there are two judgments when they have no faction. Two different people are going to court asking for two different things in the same place where there are no factions. Let us know that they don't have the capacity to rule this nation.
Away from that, former President Olusegun Obasanjo says the country will continue to exist no matter what happens. He spoke during a book launch in Lagos today. Still ahead in the news this evening, DSS denies dispersing doctors at Saudi Arabia Recruitment Center. Do stay tuned.
Democracy is the freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Nigeria Info opens the mic. This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. The federal government has written to federal tertiary hospitals asking them to begin the implementation of no work, no pay policy against striking resident doctors. Reacting, the president of Resident Doctors, Uyilawa Okusei, said its members will not suspend the strike until all their demands are met. At the Department of State Services, DSS has denied dispersing doctors participating in a job interview organized by Saudi Arabia in Abuja. A statement by the DSS spokesperson, Peter Afunaya, said no evidence was given to prove that the DSS carried out such an operation at the hotel. The spokesman also claimed the DSS was not contacted for verification. A surgeon professor Nze Jebin has called on government at all levels to fix the brain drain amongst medical doctors by improving their welfare. Professor Jebin made a score while delivering the 172 inaugural lecture of the University of Port Harcourt.
State government should, as a matter of urgency, formulate and fund screening protocols for breast and colorectal cancers. This will go a long way to reduce the morbidity and mortality associated with these conditions, which have assumed epidemic proportions in the country. Concerted efforts should be put into health awareness campaigns so that Nigerians will begin to present early to health institutions when they fall ill. There is need to reduce the morbidity and mortality associated with delayed presentation by Nigerians who suffer from cancer and other diseases like typhoid fever.
Correspondent Soibi Oluwari reports that members of the academia, management staff of the university and family members of the inaugural lecturer, amongst others, attended the event. In business news, the federal government has promised to clear the areas of the consequential adjustment on minimum wage by the end of October. Minister for Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, disclosed this at the end of a meeting between the federal government and the Joint Action Committee of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions. In entertainment, Nollywood's most anticipated project from Netflix, The King of Boys 2, premieres today. The 7-part limited series is Netflix's first original Nigerian series. It builds on a hugely popular political drama which is set in Lagos. In sports, Manchester United have submitted an official transfer bid to Juventus for Cristiano Ronaldo. Football transfer expert Fabrizio Romano in a tweet today said Pogba was not included in the deal.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
The US says over 5,000 people are inside Kabul airport awaiting evacuation from Afghanistan. This is one day after a deadly attack on the operation by the Islamic State group. General Hank Taylor said that in the 24 hours, 12,500 more people have been evacuated in 89 US and coalition flights. Taylor told reporters that the United States, which has set a deadline of August 31 to complete the evacuation, will be able to airlift people out until the last moment. And that does it here on the news this evening. But before we go, here's a quick look at the major stories. Earlier on, we told you the owners of the boat shot at by men in a helicopter in Bonny are demanding an investigation and compensation. The PDP National Caucus has nominated former Senate President for mediation on the party's court cases. DSS has denied dispersing doctors at Saudi Arabia Recruitment Center. And from the foreign scene, you heard the US has intensified evacuation from Afghanistan. I am Carl Orakwue. The news is edited by Choma Ezenwafo. The contact our newsroom on 0818-900-00175 witness reports and breaking news stories. However, for more stories, do visit www.nigeriainfo.fm. Cloudy weather is expected in Port Harcourt this evening.